Namashi.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Mwanyegeye mwa?
Umuntu w'umugabo arasabye ngo nimumwegere. Yongeraho mwa.
So, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Ndabashimira cyane kuba mwaje. The next thing is going to be we're having YouthConnekt Hangout. We're having 3 people here on the panel to talk about social media generally in Rwanda. And the theme is how far can we go? And I'd like to welcome the first person, Natalie Munyampenda. She's an active Twitter user, very vocal. She comments on issues about Rwanda, politics, social, economic development, and everything. Natalie Munya, can you please? Yes. Her Twitter handle is at Nath Munya. If Nath. Nat. Yes. Thank you. We'll also have Sandra Ruziviza. She is the creator of my 250 tweets account, in case you didn't know. So, ndumva twamuha amashyi menshi cyane. I know we all enjoy, the my 250 tweets account. And we also having Albert. Albert, he's chatting.
On Twitter, namenyere Rudatsimburwa.
Albert Rudatsimburwa. He is no, araza kubibyivugira ni byinshi cyane byiza. So yeah, he's a media guru here in Rwanda, and I think this panel mu byukuri abantu hari igihe iyo nageze mu bana nibeshyira ndababwira ati ngo ndi umuhanga mu bintu bya social media, but abangaba barandenze bari mu bantu nemera. I'm very sure yuko nabandi bari hano benshi we are experts muri fields zitandukanye, but these are people I really trust, and they are going to be talking about some very interesting stuff. The theme is how far can we go? Baratubwira ibyo bamaze kugeraho, aho babona turi kugana naho babona tugomba kugana mu yandi magambo. So I think turi mu Rwanda, you can use English, French or Kinyarwanda. Vous pouvez aussi utiliser le français. Yeah, you didn't know I speak French, sorry. So yeah, Nelson, can you step here? He's going to moderate this. If you guys can tweet about this, he's going to ask very interesting questions and they are going to respond with, they are not going to tweet. Telefone zanyu in fact ngiye kuzijyana. So Nelson, after you.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Gwabigwi, for introducing this great how should I tell panel here.
Musketeers.
I would like to remind you that this is a live broadcast right now on YouTube, and then also if you want to ask some questions, we are not going to take questions live. However, we'll be taking questions through our Twitter handle, Asian Group, and then use the hashtag TG to ask your questions. So I'm not going to introduce the panel because it has already been introduced, but I would really like to start with a simple question right now. Why tweet? Anyone can start now. What do you tweet?
We are gender sensitive.
Okay, well, I started tweeting in 2011, and I know I'm not among the first people who opened a Twitter account, but when I first started to tweet, it was like a trial to say whatever crossed my mind, but now Twitter has become a platform to tweet about what I want to tweet about, what I find interesting, and also to respond to issues that I think are relevant for me.
I started tweeting in 2009, I think, or 10, and it was really the same reasons. I tweet about what I think, what I feel like I should discuss with other people, and I created the account in July this year, my 250 tweets account, and it was mainly because I wanted us to be able to like interact and have discussions and maybe grow together. So yeah.
Same story. Actually, we were all pushed and forced to into a new way of communication. I was already had a problem because I didn't really pick up the Facebook story because the nice thing about Facebook, it was suddenly I was rediscovering people that I had lost sight, and but then everybody every second is just expressing a mood that was becoming a problem. Now the Twitter platform became interesting because people in the field that where I was active in, media, information, were tweeting their stories. So now suddenly we were able to respond or to react live to their stories. This is what pushed me. Then from one to the other, by reacting, at the end of the day, you start to create a narrative. And if you're relevant, well, people will pick it up, and then the community is getting more open and more interaction and more actually live. So great initiative also, the 250 and all that. Just like here, now we can see physically where we were virtually feeling it. I can even hear your voices, guys and ladies, you know. So that is how I got into Twitter, you know. Yeah.
I think Abel, you are one of those who are so vocal on political matters around here. You have been seeing what is happening in Burundi right now, and then you have been also speaking out. I would like to ask you if social media, as we know, especially Twitter, is it a place for social good or to create activists for you?
Imagine, you're just giving that example of Burundi. The killers have organized that they can kill behind curtains, silently. If there was no Twitter, and I know some of you guys are shocked by some of the graphics that I post. I'm shocked myself. I know that some of you guys are asking me to stop posting those things. I wish you could also send the same request to those who are generating those graphics. So at least it gave us one of the last gates to show what is really going on in Burundi, but not just Burundi, for many people actually becoming relevant and interesting and being followed because they're the only one remaining talking about a topic. So yes, here, of course, it helped a lot. Not just that, I can tell you, when the M23 took Goma, I was in Goma. I was waiting for the Western tweetos to say, 10,000 Rwandan soldiers have just invaded the Goma. It never happened because we were there and we started to tweet, and people had to say, people knew that we were on location. So it helps. Yes.
Just to add, I think with social media, as it becomes a tool the way you use it, right? So many people say, you know, I don't like these things, then you should turn it off. If you want to unfollow someone, you can unfollow someone. I think Twitter is as good as you use it for. If you have something that's important that you want to talk about, whether it's a personal campaign, whether it's something that you want to help about, whether it's responding to people who are talking about a truth that you know very well is not true, it's up to you to use that platform that social media provides. And if you don't want to follow the graphics, you can turn off that, you can unfollow. But I think it's really important as a way to spread important information about the things that matter to you and especially about your country. Just to make the point that Albert was making, I think a couple of years ago, one of the major challenges we had about Rwanda is that everybody was telling our stories. People would come here, for example, and go and see the gorillas, and then they would write a book, and that would be the book about Rwanda. And everybody had information about Rwanda through this book, when that was one facet of the story, and it was mostly about the Western person who was writing the book. And therefore, social media provides us an avenue to reach ourselves, among ourselves, in Rwanda, Rwandans among themselves, to talk about the things that are important to us, to find out people who have the same likings and musings as you, to work together for some common good. So social media is not good or bad. It's a platform that you use to get ahead, even business-wise. I think that's the one thing I wanted to say. Social media, if we want to talk about where we're going, we've used it in a very platonic, neutral way, but now there's many opportunities to use it for revenue generation. And so I think that's, for me, where I want to see it in the next couple of years.
Probably it's true, we need to create our own narrative, but I would really like to focus on Rwanda itself, how we use Twitter as in the. So what we see today, it's easy for people to contact their ministers, the mayors via Twitter. I'm wondering if really Twitter can be a platform that provides service solution to people, really. Or do we need people who go to the office or mayor every day to campaign to? Or we can just do it on.
Okay, reka icyo ngiye mvuge mu kinyarwanda kuko Twitter ni uburyo bumwe, ntabwo hano turi abanyarwanda bose, sibyo? So ntabwo twavuga ko Twitter izafata umwanya wa office itanga service ku muntu udafite smartphone. Birashoboka ko mu myaka 5 cyangwa 10 hazabaho abantu bose bafite smartphone, tutakikeneye cyane cyane na irembo bafunguye ejo bundi, tuzabasha gukora ibintu online, sibyo? Ariko for now ni uburyo bumwe bwo kugira ngo tubashe kuvugana na leta yacu, na guverinoma yacu, gukora na service nayo, kuvuga ibidushimisha n'ibitadushimisha. Ariko ndashaka kwibutsa ko abanyarwanda bose batari kuri Twitter, sibyo? Kandi twese hano tutavuga icyongereza gusa. Ndabizi ko twebwe cyane cyane ngewe ndatwitinga kenshi mu cyongereza, nibyo binyorohera. Ariko ndabizi ko uko Twitter tuzagenda tuyimenya cyangwa iyindi social media izaza, ngewe biranshimisha cyane kubona abantu batwitinga cyane ari mu kinyarwanda. Biranshimisha n'abatwigisha ikinyarwanda kwa gatatu, n'abandi batubwira ngo nago tubabwira bihagije, n'ababwira aba ministre nago mutuvugisha mu kinyarwanda. So I think mu gihe kizaza tuzabona ikinyarwanda cyinshi kuri Twitter, ariko ni uburyo bumwe, kandi Twitter ni social platform imwe. Hari Facebook n'izindi, ndabizi ko abantu benshi cyane batari i Kigali bakoresha Facebook cyane, cyane abantu bari muri business. Sinzi impamvu mutatapinga kuri izo Facebook na Twitter for business reasons.
Hari ikintu nka Beyond hajya tweetinga mu kinyarwanda, but do you think ni gake cyane mutekereza yuko tutatweetinga mu kinyarwanda kuko tutakizi cyangwa kuko buri gihe iyo turimo kuvuga tuba dushaka kubwira abandi?
Hari ibintu bibiri. Iyo nkoze tweet mu cyongereza nzi abo mbwira, n'abatumva ikinyarwanda, kandi abenshi bavuga icyongereza. Niba ngiye no mu gifaransa nzi abo mbwira. Niba niganire mu kinyarwanda ni nkuko abanyekongo babivuga, ni biso na biso. Kandi ikindi kibazo cya Twitter ni 140 gusa mu kinyarwanda, rudatsimburwa rwonyine. So ntabwo n'ubu ndacyasha nkunda ikinyarwanda ku buryo kureba ukuntu umuntu yagihina kigakwirwa kuri 140 biracyari ingorabahizi kuri ngiye. Tekereza rudatsimburwa ingorabahizi, bandangije bampartsi.
Turabizi ko urubyiruko mu Rwanda nibo bantu benshi bari kuri Twitter.
Ariko reka nkubwire, nta mpamvu umuntu adashobora gutwitinga mu kinyarwanda. I think ntabwo keretse abantu bakeya.
9 utwita amezi 9 rega mu kinyarwanda.
Utwitinga, I don't know what the word would be. Gukoresha tweet nta mpamvu.
Iyo ugiye mu kinyarwanda nanone urumva iki umuntu yakora?
Iyo tweetinga mu kinyarwanda nta mpamvu umuntu atashobora gutwitinga mu kinyarwanda. Ni twebwe ntabwo dukeneye kuba complexe. Sinzi ukuntu umuntu abivuga mu kinyarwanda. Nta mpamvu tudashobora kubikora mu kinyarwanda. Niba ubishoboye, twebwe turacyari kubyigaho ukuntu twahina amagambo kugira ngo yinjire muri 140, ariko nta mpamvu tudashobora gutwitinga mu kinyarwanda. In fact, uko mbyumva mu minsi iri imbere tuzakora mu kinyarwanda cyane kurusha n'ibindi.
Yes indeed. We want to tell our own stories, and Sandra has created My 250, which is doing a great job in providing platform for young people to.
Hey, big up, big up, big up, sir.
It's clap for Sandra. I have this question. How do you choose who's going to create everyone?
Good question.
I actually go through the list and see who interacts the most with the account. And I look at the followers, I look at the influence that they have on their own account, and then I just ask them. Most of the time, it's kind of negative, but some people are brave enough to say yes. And yeah, I'm really thankful for all the curators I've had so far. The current one is there. Okay, there's the crew right there. And the current one is there. And maybe later he'll tell you about what being a curator is.
How about we ask Makeda to tell us what's the job of kid?
No, the current one is Bill. He's right there, standing
One,
right there.
Bill,
Yeah.
the current or the kid.
Bire.
What's the job of kid?
Outstanding, it's fine. Good evening, everyone. Mwiriwe. Mwiriwe mwese. There you go. Yeah, I am the current curator of my 250 tweets account for this week. And basically, it's an account where every week a different person comes on and they are in charge of that account for the week. So they can address any topic they want, any subject they wanna put out there, and then the followers interact with them, and hopefully it builds a platform for communication and for interaction. So this week I am the one in charge of the account, and if you've been following, you've seen what I've done. If you haven't, then you need to go check my 250 tweets.
Is it easy? Is it easy to go? Because we have seen some who are created and then people were unhappy, and then others people were happy, and then sometimes others they were mute. So what's the deal there?
I mean, I can only speak from my personal experience. I think it's fairly easy if you are, first of all, very self-aware and you know what kind of person you are and what interests you. At the end of the day, it's about the person who's in charge during that week. So you speak about what's interesting to you. If you want to gossip about entertainment and that's what you're interested into, then by all means go for it. So it's just giving you a voice, giving you a place where other people can see what you're discussing. And if you want to also discuss socially relevant topics, then that also gives you a platform. It's not easy because it requires you to be on it constantly. And for someone like me who's not very good at multitasking, it could be difficult, because sometimes I forget that I'm on Twitter for like 5 hours in a row and I don't tweet. But if you're good at multitasking and you just feel like you have something to say, then it's usually not a problem. And most of the time, the people who write back to you are very entertaining, they're very polite, and you have a few cases of people who do jokes, who actually bully, they do cyberbullying, and we don't give those people any time because they honestly just don't deserve it.
He kind of mentioned some points of this in this section. How far can we go in terms of freedom of expression, in terms of doing social good, in terms of activists, in terms of promoting? How far can we go? Let me start with probably Albert. He's an artist, he's a producer, he's in the media. Where do you sit?
Sure, but I'm a bit BBC, yeah? I'm born before a computer. So I'm discovering myself where this thing is going. Because when I started, I don't think any one of us understood where this was going. I'll give you another example. You say I'm a musician. In my days, to get into a studio was a lifetime trying. You know, if you were lucky, somebody would pick you up and say, come and record. Now today, you take a computer, you take a mic, you take a keyboard, you have yourself. You don't have a record company, you go on YouTube. So how far can that go? Well, we have created a new world. The nice thing is here is, I guess one of the best reasons why we are into that is that at least we do have access and control on the beginning and the end. Maybe not the end, but the beginning. So it gives us a life. It gives us where we. I mean, before in the past we had to wait all of this time to have one developing country, Qatar, investing into media to have Al Jazeera to counterbalance the traditional stuff. But today, even us can create an event on that. So how far can it go? I mean, I think the sky is the limit, but the thing that would be nice is to stay intelligent about it and to keep at least, or to create a culture so that we don't get, in fact, we don't become the slave of a tool that we created, actually. That's
Anyone who wants to add something?
I think the opportunities are multiple. One, I think the biggest challenge we have right now in Rwanda is local content generation. So we're pushing a lot of content that's East African, which is not a bad thing. We're pushing content that's Western, lots of Western content. We're having conversations around Western conversations and how the West views us. But we had a recent discussion during Imbuto, and our biggest challenge was that we were talking about our identity versus how the West sees us. So we're not actually talking about some of the things that we want to do. So I think local content generation is where we must go if we want to have widen our scope on social media. I think Twitter is one tool. I think in a couple of years we'll have another tool. So I think that we have to remember that Twitter is a platform. It's a place, a springboard that allows us to have a conversation. And I think that that's what we have to use it for. One thing I want to say is ask me, so what must I do to get many followers? And I think the most important thing to remember is that you cannot lose your personality. So niburu umuntu ukunda Arsenal nkanje cyangwa ugakunda n'ibindi byinshi, because we're at the top of the, let me say that kuko turi hejuru cyane.
Now you can sleep.
Yes, plug there for Arsenal, but niba waje kuri Twitter ubireka cyangwa niba ukunda kutweetinga hejuru ya RDF kuko, you know, some people want to be a very polished person on Twitter, akajya avuga gusa, you know, Isaiah Sashimwe nibyo gusa. But Twitter is important because it's about you. It's you represented on a social media platform. And so I like politics, and I tweet about politics. I like socioeconomic ideas. I tweet about that. I like Arsenal. I'll tweet about Arsenal. So your personality, and when it's real, people will engage with you.
Can I add something to that? I just want to say that I think that really encompasses very well why the My250 account, My250 tweets account, is what it is today, because it lets you be you. At the end of the day, when you come to the account, you're there to be yourself. It's not just about being politically correct and being polished and being clean or whatever. It's about just us giving you the voice to be you. You have 1,000+ followers, and they get to, for 1 week, have a glimpse into your life and what interests you. And then you get to interact with people who have the same interest as you. And this is how this happens. The reason why we're all here today is because of something so simple as just all of us wanting to be on Twitter and just express ourselves. And if this is just a small example of what we can do, when you were asking how far can we go, like you said, the sky's the limit. If we can do this just today, imagine what we can do in 2 years. We can change so many things. We can actually impact lives on a real basis. And that's the beauty of it.
I think she wants something.
Yeah, because when you asked the question, you asked about social good and freedom of speech. And I think that one of the reasons why I created the account, it was we didn't have a voice. You know, as Rwandans, we didn't have a voice. We didn't have people, like most of the followers that I have on my own account are from all over the place. I don't have many Rwandese people that I follow and that follow me. So I would tweet in Kinyarwanda, I would tweet something about Rwanda, joke in Kinyarwanda, anything, and no one would really get it. And then once I got the account, I mean, we're 1,000 laughing at the same thing. We are 1,000 talking about the same thing. We are 1,000 giving our opinions about Rwanda. Because people say that the youth is not really involved, but I think that this account shows that we care about our country and we care about our future as Rwandans, our community.
I would really like to do it as you direct me from this conversation I here two things, three in fact. One, create a narrative. Two, we need to have content. And then three, we need to be able to have our own personality that, that stays there. No one knows us. Right? So now we are going to take...
Can I just top up?
Yes, please.
I'm very sure we got some representative of the government over here, and there's one thing. No, I'm the private sector inside the government. No. What I mean, there's one thing Rwanda has done very well, more than any other country even on this continent, is the whole infrastructure that the government invested in to make it happen. One last mile is missing though, according to my humble me, is that if we generate content, it has to be hosted here.
Sure.
Not kuja na mateke yacu Amsterdam cyangwa Geneva. And we go and consult them in Geneva. And we make an international call. So we have the biggest network of highways of information. Who is driving on those highways? WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. That's it. Sure. We could be watching TV. Why it's important? Because if we, for us to create more, we need also to host it here, to have the facility. And we need to have also a free or very low-rated access to all of this, so that we generate people, in fact, consulting all of our stuff from outside here.
Let me ask a question, right? We have the boss of RBA there. RBA is one of those companies that produce a ton of content about Rwanda. I want to ask a question. Where do you put your all data?
If you had the New Times or IGH, maybe there would be. Where are you hosted? Yeah, that's not an excuse, Arthur.
For us, we host our data here in Rwanda with a company called BSC. They host us. And we stream on all platforms. We are on the mainstream terrestrial TV. We are also live streaming on our website. And we also have a YouTube account that we live stream on. But our data is hosted here in Rwanda, not in Amsterdam or Geneva. Hosted here.
Yeah, but we need to top up something. There is information that you need to know that goes with that. What you don't see in little very captions there at the bottom, the government pays the bill. So I'm not too sure we would be able to pay that price. It's because it's all a business model.
Okay, I think this will be our next topic on the next Hangout. How to host data.
But if I can add, we have challenges, of course. Those are forward-looking things that we have to work on. But I just want to point out that that this government has the political will to speak to our citizens. I think that's. I lived in Canada a long time, and I have never been able to speak to any minister on Twitter. In fact, I was the one who used to draft the responses so that the minister could respond to Twitter, and the cycle took 48 hours. So we would do a briefing note and assess whether this question is worth responding to. And then we would say, is it a high priority, low priority? Then the minister would read it and say, I don't like this response, to 140 characters. It took us 48 hours. And so I think that in our way that we are pushing forward, demanding more of our government is also what is necessary for an active democracy. But we also have to agree that it's not many governments that respond to you right away. You can't tweet the defense spokesperson and normally get a response. So in that way, I think maybe if you accept, we'll clap for our government.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'll give it back to you.
And most public institutions, not just government. I mean,
sure.
Every year we do research about social media, try to understand how Rwandans are using social media, who is doing well, who is doing bad, who is being more innovative. And you guys have been inspiring us over the last 12 months. and we are here to recognize your efforts and contribution to making our experiences even better on Twitter, especially. And if you wanna hano, she's Sandrine. Sandra, sorry. So Sandra is the young lady who created my 250 tweet account. Yes. Please, all of you, before you leave, say hi to her. I know how much you love the account. And Eli.
Wavuge cyane.
Yes. So Eli nawe, he's the guy behind all the very interesting hashtags.
Memes.
So, and the meme and everything. So we really appreciate the way you've been creative and innovative in creating conversations on Twitter. So tonight we'll give you laptops, courtesy of the Ministry of Youth and ICT. There is a representative here from the Ministry of Youth and ICT. Can you please step forward?
There's only one part that is happy, that he is getting a laptop. Go be aware of a lot of memes that are coming out of laptops.
So you're getting laptops made in Rwanda.
Laptops made in Rwanda.
And ziri hano rega mutajya turi no
I say izo laptops ziri wana ko mutazizana.
So
no, zirahari ntabwo zirahari.
Okay. So I'll let you hand them. Can you please?
No. Just need
You need the microphone. Okay. So these are your laptops. We really appreciate, the creativity, the initiatives, and everything. And we hope that n'abandi nibyo dushaka ko bazajya bakora. Please be creative and contribute to the, the community, making it even better. We really, I appreciate. I mean, we've had fun with the My 250 Tweets account. Eddie, when is the Tubisige muri 2015 coming, the hashtags? Yeah, he's doing it tomorrow. And then, Sandra just told me that I'm curating next week. So please, I'm promoting the next curator. So I'm creating next week, right? Okay, fantastic. So Karema, he's from the Ministry of Youth and ICT. They're giving you the laptops through us, and they are made in Rwanda. You'll see the specs; they are fantastic. And ndagira ngo muhe ijambo.
Yes.
Mwiriwe.
Mwiriwe.
I'm called Gordon, and I am representing the Ministry of Youth and ICT. I'm very glad to be here. Allow me extend sincere appreciation to all of us to be part of the online community that are here to usher Rwanda into a hyper-connected future. It's not an evening of speeches. Gusa kwa gushimira kandi turashimira ababiteguye. You're really on top of your game. Can we have a round of applause for these people, please?
Thank you.
Ikindi cyo navuga nuko, if we remember well, at the beginning of this year, it was 29th January, Rwanda received an award, of course, represented by the Minister of Youth and ICT, for the best in Africa, the best government to use social media. It was in Lagos. Wenda mwarabibonye. Icyo gihembo cyajeho n'impano ikomeye cyane, ariko ntabwo cyari igihembo cy'igihugu. For us, we represented. Ariko cyari igihembo cyanyu, you people who do the business on tweets. Okay? Can you please give yourself a round of applause again? Yes, I can say an excitement. It's getting into a new year. Ikindi navuga nuko, just to mention that the social media drive in Rwanda is one of the strategic initiative that we want to drive at a policy level, especially as the minister in charge of ICT. If you look at the recently endorsed Smart Rwanda Master Plan, there is a section that talks about social media, to promote social media. So it's well aligned, and all of us, let's really usher Rwanda into this endless hyper-connected future. And thank you again for being part of this community. It's not an evening of words. So I think, yes, I can see they already have the laptops. They already have the laptops. So this is just a token to recognize. It's not an award. And you're here to represent the multitudes on the community. So let's keep tweeting. Let's keep using the social media. It's the only way we are going to usher Rwanda into this future that deserves all of us. Thank you, and I wish you a good evening.